It has been less than 2 months since I visited Caracas, Venezuela. While things were already bad when I was there, they are now worse. Power shortages have deepened, and this in an oil-rich country. Food is becoming scarce. Some people have resorted to eating dogs and cats. People lie on concrete slabs in hospitals without medicine. If you thought medical care was bad, just wait until it's free. And riots and looting are growing worse. I went to see the end stages of socialism, complete with hyperinflation. I wanted to see where Europe and the US are headed. In hindsight, it was shocking to see how few people in Venezuela understood what was going on. You'd think in this day and age, they'd just watch a few YouTube videos, like some of ours, and realize the reality. Almost all their problems are a direct result of government and central banking. Yet hardly anyone understood. Your average person was miserable, that was for sure. But they didn't know what was causing their misery. I didn't find much interest in gold and silver, let alone anyone buying, even though it was obviously a good idea. And forget Bitcoin, no one knew what it was, except for the government that predictably has banned it. Bizarrely, large parts of Caracas still hang pictures of Hugo Chavez and still consider him to be a hero. I met a few people who were open to rational discussions. They were making about $20 a month and could barely survive. Why don't you go somewhere else? I asked them. Colombia's close, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, Argentina, Chile, all with economies that are functioning and sometimes doing very well. The general response was, I don't know anyone there. Very strange. Why choose to live in squalor and desperation just because the environment is familiar to you? This is a mentality I often see in America. Elsewhere too. Stressed, people have a tendency to live like serfs, never venturing far from their birthplace. It's really not necessary in this era of the internet. Spend 5 minutes on Facebook and you know some people. In fact, our global reach includes the Dollar Vigilante groups, also known as the Vigilante Expat Network. If you're a subscriber, you can converse with other Dollar Vigilantes anywhere in the world. They're a great bunch. I know from experience, they'll practically pick you up at the airport and help you get situated if you decide to visit or move. It's just one of the many benefits of being a Dollar Vigilante newsletter subscriber. The scary thing about Venezuela is that all the conditions already exist and are nearly the same in Europe right now. And the only difference between where the US is headed and Venezuela is the US hasn't outlawed guns yet. Otherwise, whatever I saw and experienced in Venezuela was already familiar to me from my travels in the US and Europe. It's one reason I got out and went to live in Acapulco, Mexico. I was in Venezuela 7 years ago and it was generally fine. A beautiful place to visit full of bustling shops, restaurants, bars, and hotels. 2 months ago when I returned, I was visiting the murder capital of the world. As I wrote, we had to carry backpacks of money to pay for lunch at the few restaurants that were open. We were told not to wear sunglasses or use our mobile phones or we'd get robbed. And our hotel barricaded the doors at night to keep criminals out. Venezuela? Meet the destiny of Europe and the US. Both Europe and the US are already tumbling further into socialism. Nearly half of all millennials in the US say they like socialism over capitalism. Just look at Joseph Stiglitz, the Nobel Prize winner in economics, well, Keynesian globalist economics that is, who is one of the most respected economists in the US. He wrote The Price of Inequality and, excuse me as I hold back from vomiting, Making Globalization Work. He's also the former vice president of the World Bank. He said, quoting the article, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez appears to have had success in bringing health and education to the people in the poor neighborhoods of Caracas, to those who previously saw few benefits of the country's oil wealth, he said. In his latest book, Making Globalization Work, Stiglitz argues that left governments such as in Venezuela have frequently been castigated and called populist because they promote the distribution of benefits of education and health to the poor. It is not only important to have sustainable growth, Stiglitz continued during his speech, but to ensure the best distribution of economic growth for the benefit of all citizens. And look at this tweet from one of the top politicians in England from only 3 years ago. Thanks Hugo Chavez for showing that the poor matter and wealth can be shared. He made massive contributions to Venezuela and a very wide world. The West is headed the way of Venezuela. In fact, it's all part of the globalist one world socialist government plan being quickly put into place this Jubilee year. You can see it in Europe, where unrestrained Islamic immigration is being aimed at creating chaos within established cultures. And in the US, where the possibility of a Hillary victory would firmly establish a Venezuela-style paradise. This Jubilee year is all about putting in place the final foundation for the world's oncoming globalism. Venezuela is just a little bit ahead of the curve. For a video on this Jubilee year and its growing damages, please go to surviveshamita.com. I had the opportunity to interview one of the only anarcho-capitalists in Venezuela for my program Anarchast. It took us nearly 2 months to put it live because I insisted on paying Daniel to translate it. It took him nearly 2 months because of the nearly constant power outages. Here's the conversation I had with one of the few people in Venezuela who understands economics. See how quickly things fall apart under socialism and how the US, Europe, and many other places in the West are not far behind following Venezuela's path. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet, coming in from the barrios here in Caracas, Venezuela. A little bit of a dicey enterprise even getting in here, but we had the help of an anarcho-capitalist, I think one of maybe 7 in all of Venezuela, Daniel here, and so we've been going around the city, lots of interesting things. We'll have some footage of all the things we've been doing, including paying for things with backpacks full of money because the bolivar is almost worthless now. Very interesting, but one of the interesting things was that I wanted to come here to see what's going on, not only with the communism, socialism, but also with the hyperinflation, especially as well for the dollar vigilante, and found Daniel, and he was very happy to help us, and he's been helping us for the last few days going around Venezuela. So this interview may be partially in Spanish, partially in English. We're going to put in subtitles for the parts that are in Spanish. But Daniel, before we start, how did you become an anarchist?
Well, because the government of Chavez, the economy is down, and be interested for the economy. I'm going to the internet to search and research the information about the economics, and I don't know, poco a poco fui consiguiendo información al respecto, grupos of Facebook, know many people would share the same things with me, the same ideals like me, and we start a group in the Facebook, in the internet for I don't know, llevar esta información a otras personas.
Bien, and you also are involved with Ludwig von Mises Institute in Venezuela.
Sí, varios amigos decidimos que era importante que esta información llegara a muchas personas y decidimos fundar el Instituto von Mises aquí en Venezuela. Ya tenemos aproximadamente 7 meses desde que se fundó. Hemos hecho varios congresos, varias conferencias. Los foros austrolibertarios son bastante importantes. Llevamos esta información, la gente nos sigue en internet, hacemos citas de libros, las colocamos en internet para que la gente las lea.
And how many people come to the conferences for Mises? So how many people in Venezuela even know anything about Mises?
Well, in the Facebook page, we have, I don't know, 3,000 followers. But the people going to the conference is around 30, 50 people. We're going to many sites, many places in the country. We're going to Maracay, we're going to Valencia, we're going to San Juan de los Morros, and next maybe we're going another states.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating to see here in Venezuela. Things are so bad. There's lineups around the block just to go to an ATM bank machine and take out a maximum of $1 a day, which is about 1,000 bolivars.
There's lineups down the block just to get into grocery stores. There's lineups for absolutely everything here. It's amazing that people, but still, we just drove through a part of town where it's Chavista town, and everyone loves Chavez and loves what he did for the country, but it's really bad, and they don't understand economics, do they?
Sí, bueno, la ciudad de Caracas ciertamente está dividida, más o menos lo que es el municipio Chacao hacia el este. Se consideran territorios opositores y durante mucho tiempo se consideró que lo que era el oeste de la ciudad era un territorio chavista, como llegaste a ver varios grafitis en la calle, pero eso ha ido cambiando con el tiempo. La gente ya está cansada de hacer colas y inclusive en las últimas elecciones, las parlamentarias, estas zonas, por ejemplo en la que nos encontramos ahorita, el gobierno quedó bastante destruido con sus seguidores.
Yeah, it must be, and you came and met me at the airport with a black and yellow anarcho-capitalist flag. So we just arrived in Caracas, Venezuela. We had some ANCAPs, anarcho-capitalists, pick us up waving an anarcho-capitalist flag. He said, "Don't worry, no one knows what it means." And Luke Gronowski just we just exchanged $100, $100 US with the black market, or what I call the free market, in the airports. We were asked immediately if we wanted to change, and we did. He gave us an okay rate. It was below what we should have got, but it was at the airport, so we exchanged a bit of money. You want to show what $100 looks like? Here's what $100 in bolivars now looks like. Last time I was here, it wasn't that much.
That's a lot of money.
It's $100.
It still goes down.
This is one of them. You had another really big one you were waving. And I said, isn't it dangerous to have that or wave that here? And you said, no one knows what it means.
Yes. I go into the flag with everyone. I go into the mountain. I go to the beach. I carry my flag and show everyone. An anarchist. I'm an anarchist. The people ask, and when people ask me what is that, I explain it, and the people like it. I like the anarchy. Yes.
So they don't. Most people here don't know what an anarchist is. Even an anarchist, they don't. I know they don't know what an anarcho-capitalist is, but they don't even know what an anarchist would mean.
No. The people think the word anarchist. The people think is chaos, is destruction. Even if you search in the dictionary, you can read anarchist is chaos. So the people think that.
So they like the kind of chaos they have here. Even when we arrived at the airport, it was only a few hours earlier that someone was attempted robbery right at the airport, and he was killed. So this is the murder capital of the world, I believe, Caracas. And everywhere we go, they have no guns allowed zones, gun-free zones everywhere. They have the signs everywhere. Very similar to what a lot of the politicians in the U.S. want, people like Bernie Sanders. In fact, this is Bernie Sanders' paradise. It has extreme socialism, and we'll talk about the difference between socialism and communism too, but it has extreme socialism, and no one is allowed to have a gun, including private security. So if you go to a bank, there's no private guard there with a gun. If you go to anywhere really, there's no private security that are allowed to have guns. So even at the hotel, when we'd walk in at night, the people working there would all be kind of hiding because they can't protect themselves. It's crazy.
Yes, in this country is forbidden protect you. You can't have a gun in any place. The only people can have a gun if they're criminals. It's a paradox.
It's exact same in Chicago, where they have they put in many gun-free zones, and the murder rate skyrocketed, crime skyrocket. Because if you're a criminal, where are you going to go? You're going to go where you know everyone is defenseless.
That's correct. The criminals, he knows nobody have guns, and I'm going to assault other people.
Yeah. Ah, hola. ¿Tu mamá?
My grandmother.
Oh, abuela. Tell us about Venezuela. Is it socialist? Is it communist? Or a bit of both?
I think it's a socialist because the many I don't know empresas, fábricas.
Businesses,
Fábricas, I don't know.
manufacturers.
Many factories. The means of production is property of the government. The government expropriated many industries, and he control everything. You can wait. You can put this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We can.
Yeah.
So, vamos, porque si quieres pararlo un momento y seguimos ahora, o mientras mi abuela se va.
Está bien. I just don't want her to put water on my computer. Let me think. So what do you think's going to happen in Venezuela? To me, it looks like we're in hyperinflation now. Every restaurant we went to, they had the menus, and there was a little strip where they showed the prices, and you told me they changed those every week. We had to carry around big bags of money just to buy anything, and it wasn't a lot of money. A few $100s is like this. So that's, to me, the end stages of a country. But you said you think it's possible it can continue on for some time.
I think we have two possibilities. One is the government continue, or es decir, hay dos posibilidades. Una es que el gobierno establezca más controles y que los militares hagan más restricciones, sean más violentos cada vez y impidan las protestas. Esa es una de las posibilidades. Y la otra es que en el momento que el problema se agrave, el problema de la hiperinflación, nadie sigue apoyando al gobierno, ni siquiera sus propia gente, los mismos militares, se pongan a eso. A pesar de que tenemos la mayoría en la asamblea, o sea, la oposición tiene la mayoría en la asamblea, nadie considera que tiene un verdadero poder. El verdadero poder actualmente lo tiene el Estado, o sea, la gente del gobierno, el gobierno chavista, a través de las armas y el dinero. O sea, controlan PDVSA todavía, controlan el CENIAT y controlan a los militares.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It doesn't seem to me that it seems like a lot of people still support the government, right? And all the very poor people, and we're in a fairly poor area here. I haven't asked anyone here, but as we were driving through, it was all pro-Chavez, pro-Maduro signs, yet they're all standing in lines to get things. Why don't they realize their problems are caused by the government?
La cuestión es que antes del gobierno de Chávez, lo que la gente llama la Cuarta República, mucha gente, inclusive la gente de los sectores más pobres, sufrió bastante por muchas medidas económicas que se implementaron. Hubo gobiernos corruptos, bastante corruptos, y la gente quedó dolida al respecto. Es decir, hay mucho odio, hay mucha envidia al respecto, y eso es lo que alimenta el apoyo al actual gobierno.
Very interesting. To me, what Venezuela is today is where the U.S. is headed, and where many places are headed. More socialist. They're trying to get rid of guns in many places. That's basically what's going on here, and I just think it's really interesting to visit a place like this and then see what the future could be like for places like in the U.S. if they don't wake up, and it doesn't look like they're waking up to me. Many people in there's 7 or 8 anarcho-capitalists in the Venezuela group we have on Facebook. They didn't want to go on camera and talk about this. They said it was way too dangerous, but you did. So first, thank you for doing it, and I hope nothing bad happens because of this. Is it really that dangerous to talk about these things in Venezuela?
I don't think so. If you make a campaign against the government, it's dangerous. But I don't do that. I only talking about the anarcho-capitalism. I think it's not dangerous. I think so.
I hope not. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell people or talk about what's happening in Venezuela? Anything you'd want to finish with?
¿Qué está pasando en Venezuela?
Sí.
Bueno, actualmente tenemos escasez de comida, hay precios justos, establecimiento de precios justos, regulación de precios.
Oh, the prices are unbelievable. We'd go for lunch. We're here with Luke Radowski, who's just sitting over there right now, and another person, you, and 4 people, and it'd be $5 for a great meal. The prices are just, but you have to, here's a little tip if you're going to come here, and I don't know if I really recommend coming here, to be honest. It was pretty sketchy, but if you do want to come here, bring US dollars and then try to exchange them in the black markets, which is the free market, and because the prices are so much better, because if you pay with US or with a US credit card in Venezuela, you're going to get 5 times the price, because that's the government rate, or even higher, I think.
Yes. También hay una regulación del control cambiario, pero que a pesar de que el gobierno estableció una nueva tasa más alta que la anterior, aún no ofrecen lo suficiente que la gente está pidiendo, y no es lo suficiente para satisfacer la demanda que la gente pide. Por eso es que el mercado negro, la tasa del lo que llaman mercado negro, ha subido tanto. Y a pesar de que tú consideras que la comida es bastante económica, para el sueldo común de un venezolano es bastante. Es decir, digamos, un sueldo en total, sumando los estatiques más el sueldo común, puede llegar a los 30.000 bolívares. Y una comida en cualquier sitio te cuesta 5.000 bolívares, es decir, solo te alcanzaría para comerte una 6 comidas por un mes. Entonces tampoco es tan económico como se puede ver el cambio. El cambio, por supuesto, que es poco, pero para un venezolano es bastante los precios de la comida en la calle.
Sí. Do you want to let anyone know, anyone who wants to support Ludwig von Mises Institute in Venezuela, tell them where they can find out more information, or anything else you want to let people know?
Actualmente en Venezuela hay otras personas que nos ayudan, o sea, colaboramos otros institutos, otras organizaciones, otros think tanks, como por ejemplo Estudiantes por la Libertad, es una asociación también es mundial. Está la cátedra Carlos Rangel, está Se Dice, y siempre están saliendo nuevos grupos que difunden las ideas de la libertad, las ideas de la economía austriaca, y también están en contra del socialismo. Entonces, entre nosotros nos apoyamos mutuamente.
That's great. Yeah, so check it out, try to support them, everything they're doing. Very, very small group here in Venezuela who understands economics and what's going on. And you know, if we can just get this information out there to more and more people, then we can get rid of all these problems very easily. Once people understand what is causing the problems, and it's not, I'm the most anti-US government person around, and it's not the US government that is causing most of the problems in Venezuela. Would you agree with that?
Sí, prácticamente el gobierno de los Estados Unidos no tiene nada que ver aquí, es decir, a pesar de que...
But if you go down the street, go home Yankee, gringo go home signs. I think I have a photo of one with Luke. So people are confused. I think maybe the propaganda.
Sí, la propaganda es bastante fuerte y la gente, cierta parte de la gente, piensa que hay una guerra, lo que llaman la guerra económica. Pero no hay tal cosa como una guerra económica. Lo que dice son controles y restricciones puestas por este mismo gobierno. Las empresas son administradas por el gobierno, la luz es administrada por el gobierno, el teléfono es administrado por el gobierno,
El dinero es gobierno.
el Banco Central, PDVSA, absolutamente todo está en manos del gobierno. Entonces, la gente no ve la relación que nada en la economía está en manos de nadie más que el gobierno.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for coming on with us. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share. We try to bring you anarcho-capitalist views from anywhere in the world. I've been working on trying to get an interview in Cuba with some anarcho-capitalists there. We're all over the place, but we're very, very small in some of these places. But if you like these videos or even share them, that we can get this information out there and try to help people's lives, because I think they just don't know what the problem is, and if we can help them to get that information, we can improve everyone's lives dramatically. So that's it for Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Liberty.